Welcome to the podcast, everybody. I am Nerfed Rogue. This is the Chuck from Inside Military eSports, sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. Got to throw that in there every time.
It is. Got to get that plug, right?
Got to get that plug.
On the show, people know me by my real name, which is Jeremy Smith. But online, my gamer tags have been the Chuck for some, billion years or however long I've been gaming.
So how did you get the name Chuck? The Chuck?
The Chuck comes from where most nicknames come from, and playing video games at like 3 o'clock in the morning and being a little tired and loopy and having some fun. A friend of mine and I were playing the original Stuntman, I think, on PS2.
Oh, wow.
And there's a sequence in there where the director yells at you to chase after a tuk-tuk, which is like a 3-wheeled kind of cart vehicle used a lot in the East. And one of the directions was chase the tuk-tuk over and over. And so we, being tired, created a whole backstory for the stuntman that worked, in the game. And his name was Charles Charleston. And he had people refer to him as the Chuck. So then the direction became, the Chuck chase the tuk-tuk. And, it's 3 a.m. and we're laughing until we're crying. And just kind of stuck from there.
That's dope.
Well, then I guess I get to ask you back, where does Nerfed Rogue come from?
So Nerfed Rogue comes from, the Rogue part first, because that's the oldest part of the name. I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons since I was like 8 years old or so. And the first character I played was a rogue. And every character since then that I've really dove into really deeply had some kind of a roguish background. So that's where the rogue part comes from. The nerfed part, if you can see behind me, that beautiful, sexy Nerf blaster. I actually do competitive Nerf. That's a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so Nerf blasters that shoot around 300 FPS, 200 FPS, depending on if you're using flywheels or Springer blasters. So it just kind of got put together, Nerfed Rogue. Because, rogues typically in Dungeons & Dragons are using real steel everything. Mm-hmm. And so if you nerf it, it's not doing as much damage. So Nerf darts don't do as much damage. So ta-da.
As real bullets? Yeah, that's
as
correct.
Real bullets. Yeah, they don't. They don't do nearly as much damage as real bullets, which we're thankful for.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about Inside Military eSports.
Well, Inside Military eSports is a television show. We air on cable TV. We're distributed by Cap Sports Group. We have over 20 national and regional affiliates, including Amazon Prime, Jinx TV, a couple online outlets. And our TV show basically focuses on active duty service members and veterans who are involved in video games. So sometimes that's streamers like yourself. Sometimes that's people who, work higher up the food chain. Sometimes that's people who have side jobs like writers, designers. We really wanted to highlight the fact that there is a huge gaming community among military members.
Right.
But not only that in the gaming community as a whole, in every facet of the industry, you'll find people who are veterans that are working in the industry.
Right. That's dope. So actually one of my old squad mates that I went to Iraq with, he was going to Full Sail University while we were there. And then when we got back, he finished his degree, and I think he was doing some kind of internship at Pixar. And I haven't heard from him since, but I mean...
Well, it's a good excuse to get a hold of him again, right?
Right. Hey, man, you work at Pixar? You want to...
yeah, there you go.
You want to do some stuff?
Can you get me one of those lamps that jumps on the eye? Do you have those?
Can you do some animations for my stream?
Well, and it's funny that you mention that, because people think, if you think of Pixar, you just think of the animation, but there's so much more behind the scenes that goes into that.
Oh, yeah.
And again, because you've got, just like in every other industry, you've got, lawyers and catering and people who manage the office and things like that. So being able to, through the show, talk to people that aren't just on that kind of the glamour jobs of being in front of the camera and stuff like that. In our very first episode, we were lucky enough the head of esports at Twitch, Justin Delario, sat down and did an interview with us. Super grateful that he took time out of his day for that. But he talked about how his background as doing counterintelligence over in Afghanistan and Iraq prepared him for being the head of esports, because that's not something there's any playbook for. You go with the best intel you have, and every day is kind of a new experience. So those experiences that people have while they're serving really help shape what it is that they do now in their jobs, even just helping them to be better streamers, better people. And so being able to have those conversations. So on our show, we don't show a lot of gameplay at all. It's mostly that kind of human interest story where we're going to talk to the person a little bit about, why they joined up, what it is that they do, what they do now, and how those two things kind of influence each other.
Yeah. Sorry, I got to change something. I forgot to update the title. It's good now. We're good now. So having done, like, you interviewed the guy from Twitch who was an Intel analyst.
Yep.
You've interviewed Shellback Tech. You've interviewed myself. You've interviewed several other military members and veterans and all that. Out of everyone you've interviewed so far,
oh boy, what are you setting me up for here?
What am I saying? As far as the military goes, who would be the biggest celebrity from the military that you've interviewed? So, like,
I would say probably that very first interview that we got to do with the head of esports for Twitch. That's a pretty high profile job. Twitch, obviously, huge in the streaming community,
right?
Huge in esports, and kind of Twitch and esports kind of go hand in hand. A lot of the growth of esports is thanks to Twitch, and bringing easy visibility to that. So he's been the highest profile person that we've gotten to talk to on air.
Gotcha.
I've had several conversations with other people inside the industry. Once this show started out, some people reached out to us, sent us, DMs or email that said, "Hey, I'm in the industry. I served for this long. I can't really appear on your show because of legal obligations for where I work. But if you need to get a hold of anybody, let me know." And so we've got a couple people who do a great job helping us out getting into contact. So if we want to do a specific story or something like that, that's someone I can reach out to, and they'll say, "Oh, hey, I know somebody here. Here's an email address for you."
Right.
Or they'll have that person contact us. So, but yeah, as far as on camera, that's the highest profile person. We did get to the NBA 2K League has teams that are affiliated with NBA teams, and we got to go tour the headquarters of the T-Wolves Gaming, which is the Minnesota Timberwolves affiliate. Yeah. And it just so happens they won the championship this year. So
nice.
I'm not saying it's because we were there, but
I'm not saying it's not.
Correlation is not causation. We'll leave it at that. But they were really kind to let us come in and kind of look at their facility, and they treat their esports players the same way they treat the players for the Timberwolves and the Lynx, where they have like actual lockers that look just like the Timberwolves players. They have scheduled practices. Yeah. And they don't focus just on the video game part of it, but they sit down and have an interview with them, like, as a person. Like, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to get better at?
Right.
Obviously, you're not going to be playing this game for the rest of your life, whether it's actual basketball or 2K League, and sit down and work with them. And it's really a complete experience. And it was really cool to talk to them. But the tie-in there that really got to me was they work with the USO, and they'll go over when the Minnesota National Guard gets deployed over to Kuwait. They usually invite, the sports teams to go over there. And what they do is they cook a dinner for the troops there. And then back here, they cook a dinner for all their families. And then they link them up via the internet so they can talk to each other and stuff like that. So it's kind of a big, huge, like, family dinner type thing. But this last year, the USO invited the 2K sports team as well. So the esports team was invited along. And it's cool to see esports and game players getting more recognition,
right,
as their basketball or actual real life counterparts. So it was cool that they were invited along and they were included with that. So that's pretty high profile team. Obviously the U.S. Army esports is huge,
right?
They're adding more and more teams. My co-host Jamie Kinton was able to go down there in our last episode, I think episode 4. She went down to Fort Knox and talked to them about the whole organization. I know we are going out to TwitchCon, and the Army's got a Street Fighter V kind of finals tournament going on there.
I'll be at TwitchCon, boy.
Uh-oh. I'll bring a Nerf blaster just to
All right.
defend myself.
All right. I'll bring my hammer shot. It's a little
boy.
one.
I was just gonna bring a little one tucked into my sock. I don't know if that'll get through airport security or not.
I mean, okay, so the thing with Nerf blasters and airport security is you can actually take them in your carry-on bags, or not carry-on bags, but your checked luggage. But anything with a trigger, from what we found out, does not go through security at all. Like, even if it's just a Nerf blaster, and you can tell that they're Nerf blasters, they won't go through.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll just buy one when I get there.
We had a few. So we, in the Nerf community, we have an event called End War, and it is an international game of tag, essentially. So it's a humans versus zombies game. Humans have 1 life. Zombies have unlimited respawns, usually on like the 5-minute increments of the hour. And people come from Australia. They come from everywhere. Australia is just one of the farthest ones, but Ireland, Scotland, you name it, they've been there. Around 1,500 people show up, but we had a team from Germany come over. Then one of the guys had a Jolt, so it's just like this little, like tiny Nerf blaster in his backpack that he had forgot about, and they literally held him over for like an hour. I'm like, he could have just threw it away. It's not a big deal. You can tell it's got a plunger. It's not. But yeah, so we found that out the hard way as a community, not to do that. I was actually thinking about using Nerf darts. So like take the darts with me and put my name, like my Twitch username on it, like twitch.com.
Oh, use that as your business card?
Yeah, and just carry around Nerf darts and like, here, have a business card.
It's really good. 2 hours with a Sharpie in your hotel room, writing on all of them.
Oh, right? No, I'll just order them off of, there's a Chinese website that we use to get like knockoff Nerf darts to use for clubs. And they'll
actually print it on there?
They'll just print it on there for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know. But yeah, so Inside Military Esports. Hi. Yeah. So for this season of games coming out, since you do the esports interviews and you're talking with other gamers, you probably ask this question a lot. What game are you excited the most about for this release season?
Me personally, or the people that I talk to for interviews?
You personally. I figure you have a various different community of games that come out.
Me personally, as a gamer, I tend to play a lot of single player stuff. I was one of the 3 people that was upset there was no Call of Duty campaign in the last one.
Right. I was upset about that too.
But they did actually bring it back. The reason they originally said they had taken it out of there is because the data showed that something like 3% of players finished the campaign. And so they put all their resources into jumping on the BR bandwagon. And
because the campaigns are hard.
I really enjoy them, especially when there's co-op options.
Right.
I'm not necessarily a great player for shooters, but I have a lot of fun with it, especially if I can play co-op with friends. Right. And one of those things is, I think Black Ops 3. I played through with 3 other friends in a co-op campaign, and we had a great time with it. But as far as what's coming up soon, the big 2 for me are right around the corner, and that's Gears 5 and Borderlands 3. Those are going to consume a massive amount of time that I don't have available, but we're going to have to make some sacrifices for the video games. So Gears campaign, I'll play through just to play, but really I had played some of the first couple Gears of War games,
right?
Mostly for achievements, because if you look me up on Xbox Live, the Chuck is my gamer tag. I have a little bit of a problem when it comes to achievement points. So
me too.
I went down a deep dark hole. Oh, we're talking like, I think 270 something now. I went all the way to the bottom where I was playing B-movie game and anything you can think of, because it was, I can knock out 1,000 points here in 2 hours. Right. Meanwhile, Skyrim's sitting there still in the plastic wrap while I'm playing Hannah Montana Spotlight World Tour, because I can get a full 1,000 in 3 hours. So So I went all the way to the bottom with gamer score, and then I
no.
came back up. At the time when I did that, I was at a place where I had free time. I was
Right.
working an overnight shift answering phones, and as long as they answered the phone, I could do whatever I wanted. So I would
Oh,
do college homework and get stuff done for that, and then I'd have 4 or 5 hours, and I had to stay awake at night. So the Xbox started coming to work with me, and again, as
wow.
long as I did my job, they let me play. So I made a lot of friends in England because the time difference. It'd be 3, 4 in the morning my time, and I'd be playing with people over there. I remember at one point
That's
I was
funny.
grinding out like ranked wins I think it was Lost Planet, because nobody played it online anymore. It was 5 years after the game came out,
Right.
and I was playing with some woman who lived in England, and I would keep answering the phone in between, and she's like, do you need to go?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's fine, I'm at work." And she's like, "What? How are you?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Just I'll
Just
stand here, you kill me 3 more times, and then you get the achievement, and then we'll flip." And
that's
um
funny.
but yeah, plenty of achievement boosting. But so
Hannah
I played through
Montana
the
though?
campaign. Points are points, man. At the end of the day, that's where I was at.
How
But
was that even
like I
on your
said,
list to begin with?
I've come back. Well, there's plenty of websites that give you
Oh yeah, I
walkthroughs,
got you.
easy achievement lists, games that you can complete in under 3 hours.
Right.
Um,
I
I
thought
did
you meant it
the
was on your list.
oh
Like
well. I mean, I own, I don't know, 2/3
it
of the Xbox 360 catalog on disc because that's the kind of stuff you could pick
jeez.
up for $3, $4, and
Yeah,
at that point, it's not worth getting rid of.
right.
Um, but I actually met a really good friend through that. He was digging through the bargain bin of the store, and I'm like, these games are trash. And he's like, "Oh, I just play for achievements." I'm like, "Really? What's
Nice.
your gamer tag?" And I recognized his name off the state leaderboard of games played and stuff like that. So
Augie Bear says that he looks like you.
a little bit,
I mean,
We're
after you hang out around the military or you've been in the military at all in any capacity, you all start to look like each other.
a little bit. I also try to. I've got a beard here going because the hair on the top of my head's starting to fail.
Same,
So I
same,
feel like more on the bottom helps balance out the top. So
right? I'm just eventually just gonna shave it all bald and just have like this big gnarly like Viking beard with like little tiny skulls braided in it and just be mean.
I didn't quite go that far, but no, I didn't shave for a solid like year and a half at one point, and I've
Nice,
tried shaving my head all the way down. Most of it's just me being lazy.
right?
That's why I don't do it, because you got to do it every couple days. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, for the show, I try to keep the facial hair trimmed up, look a little bit nicer. I have to be presentable. So
that's why they have those what you call it now? Those like the Pro Glide or whatever razors, the ones that are kind of electric, but they have like all the little crisscrosses on them. That what is it? It's by I know that Gillette makes one, Philips Norelco makes one,
hmm.
like those magic shaver things or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So just use that. It's
There you go.
golden. Done.
It works way better than the magic eraser.
I would not recommend magic erasing your head.
No, not for cutting your hair, at least.
Yeah. I mean, maybe bleaching
So
your skin.
just to swerve back around, so all the gaming I did there, I would play through the Gears campaigns just to do it.
Right.
I wasn't particularly attached to the characters or anything like that.
Gotcha.
But then I had a couple of friends, one of them being our director and executive producer on the show, who got me into Horde mode, and that was the end of that. Like, Horde mode is fantastic. I really like the strategy part of it. So
Right.
Gears 4, I played a couple 100 hours of Horde mode. I maxed all 5 classes out to level 10. Worked on getting stuff like that. So I'm really excited for Horde mode in Gears 5. They added ultimate attacks for all the characters. So I think
Right.
Kate can turn invisible. One of the other characters can shoot through walls. A lot of the same enemies are back, but they've added some more to it. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward. They also added bot teammates. I had mostly negative experiences trying to play with people online. So there'd be 2 or 3 of us. We'd go
Right.
online. We'd get 2 teammates who basically would play for themselves and not the team, and didn't understand things like sharing energy, or building a small fallback point was a good strategy for the
Like
later
randoms,
levels.
like randoms
What-
do.
Yes, like randoms do. So the fact that you can add your own bots to your team means that when there's only 3 of us playing, then we'll
Right.
definitely have a better time. But obviously, if anybody sees me on Xbox Live, the Chuck is my gamer tag there.
There you
And
go.
if you need to drop in, no bots is more fun if it's people who know what they're doing. So
People is actually way more fun. That was one thing I really liked about what was it, Halo 4 and I think it was Halo 3 actually. You could do like team deathmatch setups, and you could just practice by yourself with bot teammates and just jack up the difficulty on your bots and their bots, and just watch how the designers expected you to play.
Yeah.
And then base your actual gameplay off of that. But I've actually never played Gears of War at all, ever. Like, that's a game I never, like, I saw it was third person, and I was like, not for me.
Well, when Gears came out, the first Gears of War game came out, it was one of those first games that had that really close follow cam in third person, so it wasn't quite as far back, and it had that like kind of the roadie run where you run and the camera's right down behind. It was one of the first cover-based shooters. It did a lot of stuff where it really broke the mold on what shooters were at that point in time. And now a lot of things have caught up. And so if you're just getting into it now, you're like, this is like a bunch of other stuff. But if you look back, historically, it was one of those groundbreaking things. Just like people now, they're like, oh, Call of Duty, all the shooters are the same. Like, if you don't understand like how Call of Duty got to where it is now, you lose a little bit of the sense of why. So, but Gears is a good time, especially that horde mode with friends.
Yeah.
It's basically just surviving waves of enemies. It was one of the first games to do that as well. They added a new mode for this new one, and I'm not trying to make this a Microsoft and Coalition commercial in any way, shape, or form. I am not paid by either of those companies.
Right.
If they want to send me anything, I won't stop them. But no, Gears. Also, they added a new game mode where basically, I think it's 3-player mode where you like infiltrate a hive of enemies called escape mode, and they basically you have to get out of there with enemies chasing you. So
that's pretty dope.
It's a short kind of like event type game mode, but it's different every time and randomized enemies. And there was a similar mode in Aliens Colonial Marines, a game which got panned for a lot of different reasons, some deserved and some not. But it had a mode where you'd split half the team plays as Marines that have 1 life, and the other half is aliens, and you just infinitely respawn. And then if one Marine can escape, then the Marine team wins.
So it's like humans versus zombies, but as a video game.
Exactly. And you'd have choke points where you'd have to wait for an elevator and set up a turret, and then the alien team would just start swarming you. And when you could find enough people to play with, it was awesome. It was a game mode I had a lot of fun with.
Yeah, humans
but most
versus
of the time it was like 2v2 in that mode isn't quite as fun.
Yeah, humans versus zombies is like a IRL version of that. So there's like missions that you have to complete. There's objectives that you have to just sit on and guard for 30 minutes. And it's exactly like that. Like, the more humans that die, the more zombies come in, and it eventually just gets so chaotic and fun and amazing.
So how did you get involved with live Nerf play?
So before heart surgery, I had played paintball and played airsoft and done all that. And I went out and played paintball after I'd had surgery, and I got hit right directly in the middle of the chest with a paintball round, and it hurt so bad. Like, the amount of pain from a paintball multiplied by like 30. And I was like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I can't do this. It's gonna kill me. And so I was literally sitting at home with a Nerf blaster, like, I wonder if I can make this hit harder. Got on YouTube, found TK1138, whose name is Stephen Cook, on YouTube, and I found Lord Draconical and Naptown Nerf. And at the time, Naptown Nerf, I was still living in Indianapolis at the time before I moved to Florida last week. And Naptown Nerf was in the same city as me. So I was like, I wonder if they have games. Got on Facebook, looked around for a club, and sure enough, that next weekend they were having a war. And I was like, oh crap, I could probably go to this. I'll just show up and see what happens.
I just like that sentence. that next weekend they were having a war.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's
how
really
you should, when you write your autobiography, that's your opening sentence
that
right there.
next weekend they were having a war.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I showed up and I had already modified my blasters, and so that put me kind of in a tier above the super casual player. So you have like super casual, which is like all stock blasters. Then you have mod stock, which is like slightly modified blasters, but they're still hitting around 100, 110. Then you have super stock blasters, which are like 150 to or 130 to 170. And then you have the NIC blasters, which stands for the Nerf Internet Community. And they actually pioneered like homemade blasters and 3D printed blasters like the one behind me. And that's like 180 FPS and above. Minus like a fucking bicycle pump that you can, pump up to like 9,000 FPS and just shoot a dart at somebody and probably kill them.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, there's actually a blaster that if you take the tank out of it, it's called the Titan rocket, right? So it's just like a rocket launcher.
Wow.
And stock, it'll only shoot a rocket about 50 feet. But what people were doing was taking a little piece of PVC pipe, chambering this thing all the way down to shoot actual Nerf darts, pumping it up to maximum velocity.
Oh, jeez.
And you could put a Nerf dart through a beer can.
Oh,
right.
man.
So those aren't legal.
Yeah, I wouldn't think. Well, that kind of explains why they don't let the Nerf guns on the plane.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're called Nerf blasters.
That's right, blasters.
They're blasters. And that's just for our safety. We always keep bright orange tips on everything, and we try to regulate blasters coming in from being all black. Because, if you're running around a park, because we play in public parks, that's, go out, set up some inflatable whatever, and just play, because it's free ground and the sport is supposed to be free for anyone to play. And so running around with an all black blaster, probably going to get some questions and the police called on you.
Draws the wrong attention. So for safety measures, it makes sense. Get some bright colors on there. Keep the orange tip on there.
Yeah. So like mine is bright blue. I mean, there's a company that does 3D printed blasters called Rad Blasters, and they do like 90s windbreaker colors.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, they are gnarly. I mean, like bright neon greens, neon pinks, and like they have one. It's called the Zach Morris color scheme, and it's just like every possible color in neon that you can put in one blaster on a blaster.
It looks like the Lisa Frank blaster.
Yes. It's like if Cosby's sweater could be a blaster, that's it.
There you go.
But yeah, so I just showed up and they were like, "Oh, hey, you got modded blasters, go stand over there by the moderator and we'll get everybody sorted out on teams." And they found out just how much I can still actually do, because running around with military experience, paintball experience, airsoft experience, it kind of translates really well into Nerf. But also with Nerf, you're not having the dead eye accuracy, because foam flying through the air just kind of warbles whichever way it wants to go.
Yeah, it adds a little bit. It's like wiffle ball. It adds a little bit more randomness.
It just adds that little hint of challenge. Until you start cutting darts down real short for NIC blasters, which are like half length, and they fly like laser beams, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So have you ever set up like a Nerf range there in your basement to try out different guns, or different Nerf blasters on different targets and practice accuracy?
I haven't done that, but I know a lot of Nerfers that have. Captain Xavier. He has like a Nerf militia that he's the captain of.
I'm sorry. I want an arm patch or an armband that shows I'm part of the Nerf militia because that's amazing.
Yeah, so they're called the Crew, and what they do is they go to larger scale events and they're mercenaries. So for real money, like you can pay the Crew real money, and they will protect you from the zombie horde for as long as you've paid for them.
Wow.
And that's their whole job. There's like 9 of these guys, and they all sit and they study up on military tactics. A couple of them are veterans. And they practice with each other and they form plans and they do all this other stuff. And they literally
full bandoliers with clips and backpacks with ammo. And
I mean, I carry a full chest rig with magazines in it and all like backpacking gear and all that stuff. Like it's a full on event, like kind of almost mil sim. But they are 100% mil sim, and it is insane. Like they have rally point calls, they have maps that they download and mark off and like do different routes and things, and like E&E routes and infill routes. It's just like they go over the top.
They toss a drone up for real-time video of where the zombies are.
Yes. Like we actually got in trouble in at Georgia Southern University because they just tossed a drone in the air and we're flying it around. Police came and were like, "Hey man, you can't be flying drones around here. There's power lines."
Wow.
And like their drone pilot is actually a helicopter pilot in real life. So I'm like, he flies helicopters for EMS. Like I'm pretty sure he's good with a drone. Like
he should be okay.
He's literally got a pilot's license.
So all these super cool Nerf Blaster Wars and zombie events, is any of this ever like filmed, recorded? Like,
yeah,
there's anywhere I could go watch something like this?
So you can go check out my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/nerfrogue. TK1138 on YouTube has a bunch of videos. Naptown Nerf on YouTube has a bunch of videos. I don't think Lord Draconical has put up any in a while. But I'll send out I'll send to you a tweet or a message on Twitter with all of that. And then yeah, it is a hashtag self promo Frosted Berry. That's what happens in here. Augie Bear, thank you so much for those 10 biddies. I appreciate it. Nice segue there, Jeremy.
Yeah, I've got my own TV show trolling me in the comments here. Great, appreciate it. Awesome. I was not paid to appear on this program. I'm not here to promote anything. I'm just here. Yeah, pretty much. Well, Nerfed Rogue was nice enough to sit down with us and do an interview for Inside Military Esports, and that episode is on television right now this week. Our affiliate agreement with our cable TV distribution allows us to put those older episodes once they've had a chance to air them up on YouTube. So the episode with your interview should be hitting YouTube, I think, sometime next week.
Fantastic.
So anybody who didn't get a chance to catch it live on the air can catch it over there.
Nice. And I will put those links down in my panels on this channel. And then this interview will actually be going up on YouTube as well. And I'll have links to their website, links to all the other Nerf, everything on there. And who knows? Maybe there could be a surprise for people who actually watch that video after it's been recorded. Oh, because somebody has psycho masks.
What? I see one behind your head there.
Yeah.
Well, that segues back to what we were talking about, the 2 games I'm excited for.
Yeah.
First one was Gears. The second one is Borderlands 3. I know you're a huge Borderlands fan.
Dude, I'm a Borderlands nut.
I actually I was flying out of Tennessee this morning, and
nice.
Ashley Birch was there at the airport waiting for her flight. The voice actor who does.
Oh my God, I love Ashley Birch.
I had a chance to walk up and say, hey, thanks for being at this event that I was at, and got a lot of friends that really enjoy your work. Thanks for bringing a crazy character to life. So, but yeah, no, Borderlands 3 looks sick. There's everything about Borderlands that you already like is there. They designed it to be people can jump in if they've never played a single Borderlands game before, or people that have seen everything, have all that backstory.
Right.
That'll pay off. You've got a lot of recurring characters, a lot of returning characters, a lot of new characters. It will be a good time, and it's designed to be a great single player game, but obviously 4-player mayhem's where it's at.
Nice. Yeah.
So
So
again, I am not a shill for these products. I actually really am looking forward to playing Borderlands.
This is not a sponsored video.
Not yet. I have decided that if I am ever sponsored to promote anything, you will know up front, and I will make sure. And
right.
This is not a subliminal shill. So the stuff that I say that I enjoy, it's because I like it, not because they pay me.
Right.
I drink Mountain Dew because I like it, but I won't say no if they want to send me some for free.
For sure. No, that's one thing that I've been asked a lot is like, if you could do anything in the streaming world or do whatever you want, like what do you want to do? Is like partner the goal? I'm like, no, the goal is to like play every Borderlands ever as part of their team.
There you go.
Like that's what I really want to do. Yeah. Like if I never made partner on Twitch, but I was a part of the 2K team and the Borderlands team, I would be set. Like that's fine.
So you're a big Borderlands fan going back a ways.
Oh yeah, for sure.
First playthrough, you're popping in Borderlands 3 here in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
What character are you starting with?
Mose.
Starting with the mech?
Starting with the robot lady. Cause okay, so when Borderlands 2 came out, I was playing as Axton for the little bit that he was out, was one of the 4-pack starter. And then Gage came out directly after. So the Mechromancer pack came out like less than a month later. And I switched over to Gage and I was like, man, I love this death bot. Like the death trap is amazing. And her anarchy stacks and all of that stuff, just absolutely phenomenal. And so then when Borderlands 3 got announced and they were like, oh, hey, there's a mech that you can ride in and put rocket launchers on and flamethrowers, I was like, dude, this is done. We're done here.
So I got to see some gameplay of Borderlands 3 here this last week. And I didn't realize that there's a hard point on top of that mech and another player can jump on top and use a turret. That's rad. Like just having more vehicle access, but having a moving turret that you can use is a good time. I'm leaning toward flak for my first playthrough.
Everybody's leaning toward flak.
Well, for me, it's because I think Tales from the Borderlands is one of the best written video games I've ever played.
Right.
And the entire Loaderbot like character arc that's in there, like, he might be my favorite character from that whole game. So he reminds me, and I want to hope there's some kind of tie-in and payoff for that down the road. But yeah, so that's why I'm leaning toward flak. But really, it depends on the group of friends I have. My girlfriend has played as a Siren every single game, and she thinks she might want to switch it up and try a different class to start off with here. So I may end up playing as a Siren this time on my first run. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm
really on the fence about the Siren because like I've seen a little bit of the gameplay of her, and I'm just like, eh. Like Lilith in the first game was a great Siren. She had a good ability, and after you build her up and worked her skill trees right, she was fantastic. Maya in the second Borderlands is like the Siren to beat. Like you can build her up as a support Siren or just a straight up damage. I'm gonna go murder mobs of psychos until I just feel better about myself.
Well, yeah, just looking at the skills trees for 3 in the new game, it looks like there's a lot more. It's almost like an assault Siren, for lack of a better term. It's a lot more brute force damage,
right?
Kind of a DPS Siren, if you will, which is kind of cool to think of a Siren as a tank because I would never thought of that on my own. Yeah, but again, it all comes down to having fun, and really, that's one thing that's nice. Borderlands has the flexibility. I'm not great with a sniper rifle, but I played 0 in the last game.
Gross.
But I was all submachine guns and shotguns, so I didn't play him as a sniper, right? So there's enough flexibility, and obviously there's more than enough guns in the game that you can pretty much do whatever you want with any character,
right?
So
see, I either play Axton or Gage. realistically. And for Gauge, I'm like conference call shotgun, infinity pistol, Lyuda, because ricochet damage everywhere. And then actually with the new DLC that just came out for Borderlands 2, the Commander Lilith DLC, which was free for a while, which was awesome.
Yep, the little crossover piece that ties your plot into 3.
Yeah. There's the Thompson, which is kind of like a Thompson machine gun reference.
Yep.
But I've been playing that gun with Axton, and it is just, it's got a 65 round magazine. So 65 rounds from that, and it's doing like almost 1 million damage right off the rip. And I don't even have a perfect one yet.
That's like one of those modded Nerf bazookas, right? Goes straight through a beer can?
It just goes straight through a beer can. You can kill all the psychos with it and not even have to reload. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for Borderlands 3. It's gonna be a good event. I've already had a few people reach out to me, like, "Hey man, we know you got the game. We know you're gonna be playing it, and we would like to team up and do like a big co-op stream for it." The stream team that I'm on, the Casual Nexus, Vorticos Line 75 and his wife reached out to me like, "Hey, we want to get together and do, as soon as the game drops, at least 24 hours." And I'm like, man, I got 48 hours until my wife's birthday after this game drops, so let's just do 48. I
have 48 available hours.
I have 48 available hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. But excited to see you falling asleep on stream.
Oh no!
36.
So
yeah.
the thing is I get up every hour and a half to 2 hours and stretch and do some gamer yoga, which if you guys haven't followed Amber on Twitter, she is the gamer yoga lady. She is amazing and answers all your yoga questions that you could ever have. Shameless plug for her because she's a nice person.
My gamer yoga would be going to the fridge for another can of Mountain. That's stretching for me. Yeah.
But so like every 2 hours, I get up and I stretch for 5 minutes. Walk around, get the blood flowing back in, and then like every 6 hours, I'll take a longer break, and I'll go take a shower. Just take like a 5-minute shower and come right back.
Kind of wake you back up a little bit.
Yeah. And Vorticos Line 75 does the same thing, and he was the one that told me that's how because they just did a 100-hour stream. Him and his wife did together.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was 1 year. He went full-time on Twitch as a Twitch partner a year ago, and so for his anniversary, they did a 100-hour stream. That's nuts. That's a long time.
I, on my own, have done the 24-hour straight stream on behalf of Extra Life.
Oh, right on.
That charity. I've done that 3 or 4 times now. I didn't have the capability to stream that in the past, but the last year I did, and we had some very entertaining moments with a little game called Paw Patrol on a Roll. Yeah. So I was going for the full platinum on that. There's no platinum trophy for it, but getting all the trophies, and there was one collectible at the end of one level. It's one of those things where you're forced to move forward, and I missed it my first time through, and so I went back and did the level, and I missed it. I missed it again the second time. There's no way. It's like a 10-12 minute level, but yeah. So I don't have it up on YouTube or anywhere yet, but there's a great edit of me failing 3, 4, 5 times on that exact same one.
Oh my god!
But I finally get it on that one. But yeah, no, it was a good time, and that's some of the fun with those longer streams. You got to do something entertaining, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And not just for the audience, but you got to keep yourself engaged. So I'm planning on doing that again this year. I know that a charity stream coming up
November 1st
that I think you're going to be involved with.
Myself and Nubonic so far is all that I know about. You can find him at twitch.tv/Nubonic.
I'm talking to him a little bit behind the scenes, and we're getting some really cool prizes together to give away for the stream. I may or may not be involved with that one as well, bridging some
Nice.
gaps, or even just dropping in for
Nice.
commentary just to kind of help keep things flowing. So
yeah, me and Matt talk literally every day via text message. Like, we've become really good friends outside of Twitch.
that's awesome. So you guys met through
yeah.
Twitch?
Yeah, where did I actually meet him at? It was on Twitter initially, and then I was like, oh, this dude seems like he's got some good energy. Jumped in his Twitch channel and we talked, and then I ended up getting to be a mod on his channel. He's a mod on mine, and we just started hanging out and talking. And one of those things, like that veteran brotherhood, you know, it clicks all the time, but there's just certain times that click is just like done.
But that's one thing that I've noticed. I've been a gamer pretty much my whole life. I'm really old, so I still have my original Atari 2600 and all that stuff. I've got
Nice.
14 systems hooked up to my TV. I make my kids play some of the old games too. Every one of my kids had to beat Sonic the Hedgehog, Green Hill Zone 1 before they're allowed to play anything else.
Nice.
Right? So
I made my kids do the original Mario Brothers level 1.
There you go. Yep, just a little flavor of the old stuff. But they like playing that stuff on their own too. So it's cool to sit down and do some of that older stuff. Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo is always a classic. That one's always a good time. But yeah, I've been involved vaguely in a couple different gaming communities just on my own. But when I started working on this show, I found a camaraderie and sense of competition and belonging among military veterans and active duty players that doesn't exist elsewhere. In the esports world, it's very cutthroat as far as you know, we want you on our team. If you don't perform, you know, we're dropping you.
Right.
Within the veteran community, there is a lot more support through that competition. And even if people aren't actively on teams, they're rooting for each other. Teams that even play against each other. So you'll get a match where it's like Red Platoon Gaming versus Brigade. They'll play each other hard, and it's GG's after the game from everybody, and everybody's still friends. And it's really cool to see that level of kind of respect and friendship go along with that level of competition at the same time. Because usually you get one or the other, but not both.
Yeah, I mean, well, in the military, that's just kind of ingrained in us from day one, is like, you guys will be in competition, like first platoon and third platoon, you know, first, second, third platoon, whatever. They'll all be in competition against each other, but at the end of the day, you're still brothers or brothers and sisters and your family no matter what. And that guy to your left and right may be from a different platoon, but while you're in competition now, it's your ass on the line when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and there's that common goal as well, that you know, even though there's that competition, you're on the same team. And at the end of the day, as gamers and as people, you know, just making sure that we are all on the same team, right? Like there can be healthy competition in gaming, but like going after somebody personally, there's no need for that. Like, we're at a point where we can play. You can play. I can be on my PS4 and somebody else can be on a PC, and we can play together, and that's awesome. Or I can jump on Minecraft on an Xbox One and play with somebody on an iPad and somebody else that's on their phone, and like we can all play together. And that's one thing that gaming does, is it crosses lines of gender, race, ethnicity, background, age, and can bring people together. And you see stuff like that. You saw a lot of it when Pokemon Go came out and got huge, as you see these people who were just, you know, out at the park, and it's, you know, some 18-year-old kid and a 90-year-old woman, and they're both sitting there and they realize they're both trying to raid the same gym, and they start talking, and like the shared love of that game brings people together. And that's what gaming is it brings us together. It shouldn't be something we use to divide ourselves apart.
Right. But also, if you're not Team Valor, you're wrong.
As long as nobody's on the yellow team, then they're good. That's my stance.
As long as nobody's Instinct, we're good. Let's be all right here. No, I actually have something that I'm going to be bringing to TwitchCon with me, and I was going to get some people to play if you would like to play, because I have a multi-tap. Champions of Norath, bud, on PS2.
Ooh. I might be able to bring my copy in another PS2.
Well, I mean, I have a multi-tab and 4 controllers. Like, we can get some ridiculous games going.
That's a good time and actually has me really excited. Again, I sound like a shill where I'm just plugging upcoming product. But
I mean, it's fine. It's cool. Whatever.
I know, right? They're doing HD remakes of Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, Neverwinter. Like all that stuff is coming out with 4-player co-op in HD, and a lot of people don't realize that those are D&D properties, right?
Yeah.
They just think they were video games. Like that's like straight up like D&D lore right there. So if you play those, you already get D&D. And the fact that people are going to be able to grab those like on the Switch and play those on the plane and, you know, stuff like that.
Yep.
It's really cool. I grew up and kind of always wanted to get into tabletop gaming, but never had anybody I knew that did it. So like we found some character sheets once when I was in like 6th grade, you know, that were left in the back of a book in the library or something. And so we like rolled dice and made some characters, but we didn't know what to do past that.
You want to do an inside military esports one shot at TwitchCon?
We might be able to do that.
We'll talk after this.
All right. If anybody else is interested, we might have to
I run a table. Well, I used to run a table until I moved. But I've been DMing for almost 2 years. So I would run it. That's cool.
Well, I just got, so growing up, I always wanted to do it, but never got to it. And then I made a run at it. I didn't know how to quite get into it probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
And somebody said Pathfinder was easier to get into. I think D&D was back on 4th edition at that point.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and they were like, Pathfinder's easier to get into. If you just want to do some basic stuff, Pathfinder has free stuff you can download. So we started a little bit of that, and nobody in the group of friends wanted to do the DM part. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. Sure. Or I guess GM, right? Game Master.
Yeah.
So
DM by
I got
default.
into it a little bit, and I was like, and we kind of started and got something going. And I was like, okay, like, I don't like this prefab stuff. I like to think of myself as creative. I like to write. I like to read.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, well, now that I know like basic kind of that stuff, like I'm just going to like set my own location, because then I can decide, you know, who's where and all this stuff. So then I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And that was right when 5th edition came out. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So I bought, you know, the Dungeon Master's Guide and a player handbook.
Yeah.
And I kind of taught myself the basic rules. 5e streamlined a lot of stuff.
Right.
And the nice thing, there's a YouTuber named Matt Colville.
Oh, yeah. Matt Colville's awesome, dude.
Who does like how-to videos on D&D. And he used to write, he wrote for a bunch of actual video games. He's worked on board games. And I basically just watched all of his videos over the course of about 4 days. Binged through all that. And he is a big believer that the game of D&D or any tabletop game isn't what's in the book. It's what happens like out loud at the table.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So if there's rules you don't like, then don't use them. And if there's stuff you do, some people really love getting into the minutia of how much everything weighs and if you're over encumbered or not. And some people don't want to deal with it at all. Some people want to deal with eating and sleeping, and some don't, and some kind of casually throw it in there. And that's the beauty of it, is you can customize it to the level of experience that you want. So with that, I went ahead and one group, which is a friend of mine and his wife, and then my girlfriend, I just wanted to kind of introduce them to it.
Right.
So I went back and pulled one of the old original modules, the cult against the cult of the reptile god.
Not
is the one I
video.
pulled out, and I added some stuff in there. There's your Diet Mountain Dew sponsorship right there. Perfect. You have to open it next to the mic and go, right? But no, I pulled that old module because it's available online, and that was, you know, one of those recommendations from Matt Colville, and went through and kind of set that up as an introductory adventure for them.
Right.
So they got the basics of D&D, and then at the end of it, you know, they had saved this city, and then I could use that city as a hub for their future adventures. So
that's pretty dope.
Got another group then going with some other people I knew through work and, you know, friends of theirs, and that's a slightly bigger group. And basically used the same map and setting that I had for the other stuff.
Yeah.
And just, you know, did that one 300 years later in the future. So I decided, you know, what happened in this, you know, in this kingdom, what had changed, stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, that's really dope.
I just got into it. Well, and my hope, because my girlfriend plays in both groups. So, you know, she gets a little more insight because she knows, you know, oh, that's why the city's destroyed, because I'm there destroying it in the other game. Yeah.
Right. No,
but no, I just got into it enough where I feel comfortable DMing. But I would love to play, because that's all I've done
is
run 2 games. So I haven't had a chance to play as a player.
Yeah.
So if we have to do a one shot while we're out there, then
I'll bring out some prefab characters and let you guys pick from them, and I'll custom write a story because that's what I do. I don't like prefab stories; they're garbage.
I think TSA allows dice on Carry On still.
They do. Okay. And I have tons of dice. But no, my campaign that I was running with my wife and some of our friends, they liked her being a wild magic sorcerer so much. And I had a bunch of the players like, I really wish we had wild magic too. So I was like, give me a day. I'll figure this out. I made a potion of healing that as it healed you, it also cast wild magic on you. And so when you would drink it, you would roll a D100, whatever you got, that was what you're stuck with. We had people turn into sheep. We had
awesome
demons called down, like just all kinds of ridiculous stuff happened, like go invisible for 3 minutes.
And that's the kind of fun stuff that I like. So I did something similar when I was doing, I think, that first group. There's a suggestion in the back of the Dungeon Master's Guide of like, have everybody roll dice and they get one of these random items and they can decide why they have this item in their inventory. And I was like, okay, well, let's get some character traits in there for everybody too. So I made my own list of like 40 different things and they would roll for it. And I would tell them as they made their character, what kind of stuff, they had. So we had one character who was allergic to fish scales. So like if a fish touched their skin, they would their hands would swell up and they couldn't use their hands for 24 hours. There was no cure, but it was just the scales. Wow. So they could eat fish, no problem. So that character at one point, they had to cross a river and they were, in shorts and they're like, nope, I'm not doing it. Like somebody has to carry me. So they had this phobia of going in the water because they were afraid of a fish
touching them. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or we had one character who every time he got nervous, he got the hiccups. Like that was his thing. So,
wow.
They got into a dark cave and they could hear goblins and all of a sudden he starts hiccuping and the other characters are like, shut up. What are you doing? He's like, I can't help it.
Right. So, I mean, that's the little quirks though that really make the game special.
Absolutely.
And speaking of special, because we're live on Twitch right now, I like for my chat to feel special as always. So I'm going to open up the forum to them for a minute because we're nearing the end here. And if you guys in chat have any questions for Jeremy Smith or myself, go ahead and type them in chat and we'll see if we can get you an answer to them. And we're just going to keep talking while you guys are typing.
Sure. What's on your shirt there? The people in the podcast aren't going to hear this, but what is that, a Ghost Recon shirt there?
Boom.
Almost
Punisher, baby.
Oh, it's Punisher one. Okay. The new Ghost Recon Breakpoint that's coming out has the logo where the image is kind of slashed and faded.
Oh yeah.
So it looks similar to that one. And I've dabbled in Ghost Recon games, but after seeing a bunch of this new one, I'm actually really interested. The story gets pretty dark. The bad guys are other ghosts who decided that
oh snap,
things had failed and
that's not good.
They weren't happy with the state of things. And
now, did that raise the difficulty any though?
I don't,
because when you're fighting Mr. Joe Militia, I'm an extremist. That's one thing, because bang 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 over my head. But if you're fighting other military members, that trained alongside you, I would expect for that game to have adaptive AI, so that if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and trying to beat a level, they're gonna learn what you're doing.
Yeah, I think Wildlands did a good job setting up the open world drop in, drop out co-op type experience. I didn't get too into it. Part of that was just because there were so many games out at the time. But yeah, Breakpoint, after seeing more of the story trailer, they added some stuff in there too where if you're running down a hill, there's a chance you'll trip and turn your ankle and you're going to run slower for a while. Or when you're going through water, and for the mocap, they actually went to a racetrack and got those inclined planes of,
inclined plagues.
They get more difficulty as you go. But they actually mocap.
Starts out as bubonic, slowly transition into nuclear,
into the Black Plague for a while. Yeah, basically just a bunch of rats. So.
What is my tattoo of? My tattoo is a full black sleeve right now. I'm actually doing a white over black tribal tattoo. So I had the Polynesian tribal down my arm initially, and then one of my friends was like, dude, you should just do a reverse of that. So I started blacking out the arm myself, and then up in the top here and on the elbow, I actually had an artist sit down and do it. And so it's like 30% done, I would say. I got another maybe 160 hours to put back into it. I've already got about 60 into my arm already. But yeah, that's my tattoo so far. Just black. I'm doing the reverse Michael Jackson.
There you go. I am ink free at the moment, so nothing.
At the moment, I'll bring my tattoo kit out and we'll fix you.
Yeah, I don't know if that one's gonna happen. So we used to always joke that I was gonna get eyeballs tattooed on top of my eyelids so that I could doze off and people would think I was still paying attention. So
that's funny.
Yeah, it sounds incredibly painful too.
Oh, so. that would be incredibly painful.
Yeah,
The most painful tattoo I've gotten was on my elbow so far. And it was because it was just like dead in the bone, just vibrated my skull, and like it just hurt all over.
Well, on our show, our director / executive producer / editor / genius, Ted Anderson, who puts all of our show together. He is not on today. He couldn't be here. He's moving into a new house, but
he'll hear it eventually.
He'll hear about it eventually. And since you're putting it up on YouTube, there's a chance he may get a chance to see it there. But
yeah,
no, he's got a lot of really cool art on both arms. You'll get to see him out at TwitchCon. There you go. Yeah. So if you wanna check his stuff out, he's definitely got the Nightmare Before Christmas type, like glorified Halloween theme going on.
Nice.
So. But he's got an artist that he's been with for a really long time. It's kind of an ongoing project. So
yeah,
he's almost up to full sleeves.
So. Speaking of Nightmare Before Christmas, have you seen the Tim Burton Pokemon?
I have not.
That's something to Google later.
Oh boy,
they're creepy. Like they took really cute Pokemon and they're like, why? Why would you do this at all ever?
Now I'm interested.
I love them. Like I want to get the Tim Burton Charizard or Charmander somewhere on me, just because he's so ugly. Like he's so ugly. He's cute.
So you identify with him?
Yeah. No, he's exactly like me. He is so hideous that people actually find him attractive.
Yeah, it goes all the way back around. Like it's so ugly, it's adorable.
Right, like a pug.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I don't know if pugs are ugly at all.
Pugs are pretty ugly. You got a mushed face, underbite. You're
causing a lot of controversy here.
That's fine.
Dangerous ground.
That's fine. The Tim Burton Pokemon. Yes, that is it. But guys, that is going to be it for our podcast tonight. I would like to once again thank Jeremy Smith for coming out and giving us this opportunity to interview him and talk to him a little bit about Inside Military Esports. If you want to give us a shameless plug.
Yeah, absolutely. The show, like I said, airs on cable television. If you go to our Facebook page, there's a pinned list of all our affiliates. That's something we'll have up on our website soon that's interactive, so you can click on whichever station would be local for you. Some of those are national. If you've got Prime TV at all, that's an easy way to find the show. It's up there, and then back episodes are up on YouTube. And our website is insidemilitary.esports.tv, so real easy to find there. But my co-host Jamie Kenton and I basically get a chance to talk to people who are active duty or veterans who are involved in gaming, whether that's streaming, just playing with a couple of friends, or working in the gaming industry. I'm just talking about how their experiences in the military shaped their lives and have affect their careers within gaming.
Fantastic. And again, thank you so much for coming out here. I'm